Welcome to LSC. It's sports time. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Today we're on location at Big Walt's Barbershop on Armstead Avenue. Big Walt played nose guards at Phoebus High School and is a football aficionado here on the Peninsula, knows everything that's going on. In fact, before the internet started, this is where you got all the information on all the players on the Peninsula. Walt, glad to be here today.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that.
We'll talk a little bit about you. I know you played for Bill D when his first year at Phoebus.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about Bill, what he brought to the program over at Phoebus.
Phoebus, Coach D brought a lot of love to Phoebus. You know, before Coach D got there, we hadn't won too many games. I mean, during Coach Trainer time, not saying that he was a bad coach or nothing, but the athletes just didn't come out because it wasn't a winning team. But once Bill D came on, and I think the year I played, 86, I think we won one game that year. We beat Ferguson. And that could seem like the turn everything around right there, the turn of things.
Well, Bill had to basically teach them how to win, to be winners.
Right, that's right.
And get the athletes out. I know you've got standing next to you, you got your lovely wife, Nicole, and you've got some children. We'll talk about those.
Okay, well, this is my wife, Nicole. She actually a crabber. She went to Hampton High School.
We were going to hold that against you, are we?
She went to Hampton High School, but we ain't going to fault her for that. But since I got two kids now that's at Phoebus High School, my daughter, Takia, she's a cheerleader at Phoebus, varsity cheerleader. I got my son, Lil Walt, wearing my number, 79. He's a nose guard at Phoebus, 6'1", actually he 3'14". 9th grade, 15 shoes, he's a monster. And I got an older daughter, Shakita Murray, and she went to Kickertan High School.
Wow, you've got your kids all right here on the Peninsula, which is kind of neat. But I know you dropped out of school and ended up getting your GED, but when you dropped out, you was kind of responsible for what used to be the Radisson as the Crown Plaza now.
Yeah, I always say that, because I had got suspended actually for I was getting 20 days at a time, won't know 10 days for me. So one time I had 20 days, and so my dad, he used to say, you ain't going to school, you're getting out of here. He would make me leave out in the morning when he left out, whether I was going to school, work, or something. So I ended up getting a job building the Radisson Hotel, working, doing construction work, making $315, something like that a week. That was pretty good for a 17-year-old at the time. So, you know, but I was telling my mom one day, I came home, and at the job, construction site where I was working at, they were talking over my head. They were using terms and words I didn't know nothing about. So I kind of figured that I needed to get out of there and get back in school, you know.
Well, so you got your GED, but you also, which is I think is rather unique, is you're going over to Hampton University and talking to the psychology classes over there.
That was different. That was different. I met Dr. McMorris, actually. He's a psychologist teacher over there, and actually me and him was sitting in the hot tub at the fitness center when we got to talking about it, and he got to talking and kind of relating my job with being a behavioral scientist, you know, and that's what he do, and working as a barber, that's what we do, you know what I mean? You come in here, you're feeling in one mood or whatever, and after we talk and have a good time, some laughs, some old school music, and you leave out looking better, you feel much better. So it's kind of similar to being a psychiatrist or something, you know. Right,
so you're talking about life, basically, when you get over there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what, you know.
Well, I noticed you also got LSC on your TV just about all the time over here.
All the time, that's what we do here, right? A lot of us working here played some of these, in these schools, high school, Hampton, Phoebus, Kickertan. Most of these boys are here, Phoebus High School, but
we got one that's an import. I know, should we talk about him?
Who you talking about, Coach Smith? Is you talking about Coach Smith that we? Oh, you talking about the man down there from Ward? Tim.
I'm talking about Tim.
Yeah. Well, right? we let him in here.
You let him in here. Yeah, I noticed he's got the chair clear at the end.
That's why we put him down there.
Okay.
Exactly why he down there.
And I got behind me, I got Earl Hill. He's been with you for a long time.
Yeah, that's Earl sitting right there.
Oh, he moved.
Oh yeah.
He was doing my hair. That's good. That's good.
Actually, Earl.
I was actually waiting on you to get talking.
Get to the cue in. Earl been with me for 17, almost 18 years, and I mean, even go back farther than that, because I grew up on Taylor Avenue, he grew up on Kelly, and since we was 12 or 13, we both been cutting hair. And when I wasn't cutting at the house, I would send him around his house. He was cutting in the kitchen, I was cutting in my mama's garage. So we always talked about owning our own barbershop together, working together, and I mean, we've been doing it for 18, 19 years now.
Well, I was talking to Leon, your brother, who's also over here, and he said that you guys used to cut it in your mama's back room, and she had to kick you out of there because you're getting hair all over clean clothes.
There you go. I mean, it started getting real busy in there. You know what I mean? Backyard full of people and everything. Actually, that's my mama over there. She didn't want to get on camera, man, but I don't care nothing about it. That's my mama right there. So that's you know, we used to cut a lot in the garage. Everybody in the backyard. We sitting on the washing machines, clothes, hair everywhere, all in the neighborhood and everything. So eventually, it was time I outgrew the backyard.
Right, well, this is a nice outfit you got here, but I know that a lot of the coaches will come in here to talk to you guys about who is coming up through the rec league.
Yeah, a lot of the customers are old coaches. I see a lot of coaches. I coached YH Thomas for about 6 years myself.
Right.
A lot of the customers are coaches. So Mike Smith, Coach D, all of them, some of the assistant coaches, they come through here and talk to us because we're the rec league coaches. So to kind of save them some trouble of trying to test people out for a position, because we'll tell them, this is your running back. He was a linebacker in rec league. So they kind of listen to us and respect our opinion on that, you know.
Well, I was talking to Stan Sexton earlier this year, and he said, and I asked him, I said, where do these kids learn to hit so good? You guys teach? He says, no, they're getting it in rec league. They learn how to hit, and a lot of the good fundamentals they get from the rec league.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Most of the rec league coaches were old high school coaches and college players in this area. You know, a lot of them is, you know, they say if you ain't gonna bite when you're a puppy, you ain't gonna bite when you're an adult. So we know who biting in rec league, you know.
Right. We had a story in here. The gentleman was talking earlier about Tyree Lee, who happens to be here, but he's younger brother.
Yeah,
but they didn't want him to play. Tell that story.
Tayshawn. Tayshawn, he one of the Rosses. Lee, y'all figure all that out later. But his dad coming here one day, and we was talking about, everybody know little Tayshawn. He's real small. All the Rosses are small. But this little dude, he was at the game, and his dad came and asked the coach why he ain't playing. And the coach was like, he's too little small. We don't want him to get him hurt or nothing like that. So the coach finally, the game was almost over, decided to put him in the game. Said, just give him the ball. They ain't call a player or nothing. Just give him the ball. And he ran a touchdown, 40, 50 yards, but he shook him so much. And when he got in the end zone, he was jogging backwards, waving at his mama, smiling on the sideline. So they did it again to make sure it wasn't no fluke. And he ran another one for about 40, 50 yards. So you think Tyree nice. I'm sure Tayshawn will be next.
Well, it's nice to know that we got some youngers coming up here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everybody in here's got an opinion.
Yeah.
And so how do you guys end up getting the right information out? The internet and all this, you can get the stats right away now.
We Google. We'll call up somebody. We'll call them up. You want to know how many yards he rushed for? You call the individual itself. You know, somebody know him coming through the barbershop. Like I said, this is the first internet. Somebody know him. It ain't hard to find out something that's going on. We call it the official, unofficial report.
The official, unofficial.
Yeah.
Well, if I were to throw out who was the best running back in Phoebus, what would I get?
A fight. A fight. I mean, me personally.
Yeah.
Now, you got your different style backs. Now, I like Tyree Lee. To me, to go to his game was the most exciting thing. I mean, we already knew some games. We knew Phoebus Heritage, some Woodside, some of them teams we knew was going to get blowed out, but we wanted to go see the Tyree Lee show. So we talk about that before. We call him There He Go.
There you go.
There you go. It ain't gonna be long before the game get halfway in the game. Somebody gonna holler out, there you go.
Tyree, take it to the house. Take it to the house, baby. Take it to the house, baby. Take it. Come on. Take it to the house, baby. Take it to the house.
There you go. So I like Tyree.
Yeah, well, what do we got some other opinions about some of the running backs?
Tyree is a great running back, but then you can't forget Alex Hill. You can't forget Elon Lewis, two different styles. When you're talking about running back, can he catch out the backfield? How hard does he run? Can he take punishment? Of course, with Elon, we ran him 35, 40 times a game. So his stats had no other choice but to be up there. But when you talk about Tyree, he takes a play and he does the best he can with it. And more than likely, he's going to score. So it depends on, and don't forget the older guys, Leroy Keys and some of those cats. You know, you got to go way back. Yeah, and then again, it depends on the type of offense that you run.
Right. Well,
Tyree or Womack. That's what we've been arguing. Tyree or Womack. That's what our argument been the last couple of weeks. Tyree or Womack.
Tyree is the best thing going to see. Excitement. You knew he was going to do. You expected it. But one thing I love about Antoine Womack, you talking about a boy that was 6 foot and still ran a 4.3, ran fast as the light ones and the smaller ones. And will come through that line and run you straight over it and keep on going.
That's right.
And doing it in the fourth quarter.
That's why I said they two
with 6
different
minutes
back.
left.
No
And still giving that burst. Man, it was beautiful watching him run somebody over.
best defensive ball players.
Best defense?
Best defense. You got a DB, Romero, Hollier, Mayo, Fenner, and all three. A lot of Fenners.
Boy from Hampton, that played for Notre Dame, Banks. All the bad boys. Pedro Phillips too. Pedro Phillips too.
What we need to do also is talk about what was the best quarterbacks that came out of the Peninsula. The best quarterback. Goes down. Hey,
we said Michael Vick.
I say Ronald Curry, hands down.
well,
Todd good.
Todd's nice now.
I think I'm the best I've seen. Ronald Curry.
all right,
We're doing it though.
all right, what you got?
Mike's still doing it. The rest of them ain't doing it no more.
Let me just say this.
Mike have been a
Let me just say this.
He's still playing.
Well, we got to understand
Okay,
though.
Mike
you
Vick,
got
Ronald
to talk
Curry
about
was
kids.
the most athletic. But I ain't seen nobody be accurate as that boy Taj Boyd to ever come out here, man.
Todd's gonna do
I
his
seen
thing
him
for
do
Olympics
some
this year.
passes I ain't expect a young man in high school to do. You know, Ronald Curry, they had no arms, they let it go. It's sad, but that
But
boy
you
Taj
got to
Boyd,
look
he
at.
had the supporting cast.
We also got to talk about not only the quarterbacks, but what they did when they were in high school. Not necessarily what they did later on, but what they did here. But then you got to look at these returners. You had some great returners that come from the Peninsula. We go back to Lafayette and Mel Gray. You got Allen Iverson. You got Ronald Curry. You got people who could run that ball back.
I get Hampton that one.
You kicked that ball.
I get Hampton that return, man. That's because his daddy comes through and all. But Deion Futch.
Excuse me, Big Walt, I beg to differ.
Uh-oh.
I think the best return man sitting right here to the left of me, Tyree Lee. Every time he got the ball, it was something exciting was gonna happen. He's my son, but had I not seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I know that's right.
And I'm blessed and I'm thankful.
And you're an
Amen to that.
ex-Beavers running back, too. All right.
I came home. I came home from the military in '96, and I heard about Curry, and I went to see him play at Dollar Stadium. And this was the first time I was seeing a player where they kicked the ball off, and the ball was rolling. It was going to the, to the sideline, and here come about 4 of the defense players running. I mean, wide open. And Curry just took his time like he was gonna get it, and he won't gonna get it. Then he ended up getting the ball, and they were about like 4 or 5 feet from him, and they wide open. He just picks the ball up and just go around and run it back for 80 yards. I said, Lord, I ain't never seen nothing like him.
Hey, I want you to tell the story. I want you to tell the story. You were not here to see a lot of what was going on in the Peninsula. You were in the military. Tell how much Channel 48 and LSC means.
It means a lot to me. Believe me, I'd never seen Iverson play, right? But I knew about the basketball. People call him, hey, man, this kid down here, man, he can jump out the gym. Man, he took the belters of state football, basketball. So when I came home, I saw Curry, but I didn't see Iverson. So I keep watching. See, I got Verizon, so we get 22. And my wife think I can't hear because I have it up so loud, you know what I'm saying? I want to hear y'all talk. So I finally get to see Iverson. And he showed me the same stuff that I seen in Curry.
Abbott gets another good kick away. This into the wind drives Iverson back. Iverson will take it on the one hop, trying to get a block on the sideline. He does. He's down the sideline looking for one block. He may go. He will.
I watch them all. I still watch them. Yeah.
All right, now I want to throw out something else out to y'all. And we'll jump in on this thing. But you look at what's happened on the Peninsula in football, and you got to go back to one guy at Hampton High School, Mike Smith, that set the bar high. Set the bar high, and then did something a lot of people don't do. Got some coaches that stayed with him.
A couple of us, a lot of us in here coach rec league football. I know when I was coaching, the 6- and 7-year-olds, they knew then whether they were going to play for Hampton or Phoebus. The rivals started then. They weren't even talking about the team that they was on. They was talking about, wait till I get to Hampton High School. Wait till, I mean, the rivals started then. I see some other coaches, rec league coaches. It started way back then. One time Phoebus won in the conversation. The rival game was Hampton and Bethel.
Yeah.
But since Coach Deaton got here in 85, 86, I mean, he turned it all around. We done pushed Bethel out the scene now. Now the team to beat is Phoebus. It's us now. So, like I said, the rival started years ago. I mean, at rec league, it's on that. It's on that. Once you put on equipment, football equipment, you playing for this particular team now. But your goal is to get at Darlem Stadium and them lights. That's what everybody want to do.
And the kids want to do that, but when you have coaches like Bill D and Mike Smith, and they've set the bar so high, we're getting better athletes. We got a lot of athletes on the Peninsula. I think this is the hotbed of athletics right here on Peninsula. And you're getting the best because you got best coaches.
They stay in the background in the scenes, but I think a lot of that is because of coaches like them that's really connected to the rec league. They still know who the running backs is, who the linemen is. That's say Coach Denham don't know who the running backs is. They don't have time to really evaluate to find out who their lineman is and all that. It comes from Coach Shields and them that coach rec league that say, here go your running back. This dude ran 100-some yards as in the 9th grade. I mean, 9 years old. The same ones that's a star in rec league is the stars in the high school. I think I was talking to, might have been Coach Shields, and I was saying, man, you know, Phoebus is number 7 in the nation. At one time they was. And I'm telling them, I said, that means each high school maybe got about 7 to 8 coaches. So putting 7 and 8 together is 56. So y'all in the top 100 coaches in the world. Y'all really, I mean, nobody really speak about it. The last couple of years at Phoebus, you had a different quarterback, a different running back, a different everything. The players change, but the factory is the same. It keep producing the same product over and over again, which is state championships, and we still want more because Mike Smith got, I think, we tied them up now, ain't we? They got one more than us.
You got 13?
Yeah, they got a lot of them over there. Walt, tell me what this barbershop means to you and the people that go to Phoebus High School.
I think that the barbershop, like I said, I call it the first internet, but it's a place where, one of the last places where an athlete can still feel cool. You know, it's outside of here, you got a lot of dealings in the world you're going through, but in here, when them athletes come through the door, we hollering their name. It's real exciting to them. You know what I mean? It's still cool to be an athlete in Hampton right now. You know, I had a barber come in here from Richmond, and he used to love it. He used to sit back and say, man, wow. He said, where I'm from, drugs in the streets is idolized. Right. He said, to come here and see Taj and them coming here and want this excited about coming in the barbershop because you're around your father, his friends, ex-NFL players. We got a lot of people to come through here. So when you come in here and people screaming your name, it's like the old bar, the Cheers. Everybody like to go somewhere where you know your name.
That's right.
And no question, they can come in here and get that, you know. We watch them.
Well, talk a little bit about your barbers you have here. We didn't get to mention your barbers, but do that for me.
All right, I got it's about 10, 11 of us in here. Right here, I got Earl here with me. Earl been with me for about 18 years since I opened my first shop.
And I'm in his chair.
You in his chair right now. And usually, if you sit in that chair, you have to pay something.
Oh, Lord.
It usually
costs me to sit in his chair.
Costs, right.
Okay.
I had to let him off the hook for a little bit, Walt.
Beside Earl, we got Rick. Rick is the haircut troubleshooter.
That's me. Troubleshooter.
He the troubleshooter. If you got a problem with your hair, Rick gonna shoot the problem, make sure it's taken care of. Designs, all that stuff. Rick is a good professional barber. I'm glad he's aboard. That's my brother Leon. Leon been with me for about 8, 9 years now.
Yeah.
Excellent barber. George here, that George right here, that's sitting beside him, right here beside him. Don't go past him. He's the information guy at the barbershop.
He knows everything.
He's not a barber. He's not a barber. He just come through here and sit down and make sure everybody know what's going on.
So you don't give him clippers?
Oh no. All he do is sit there and he let you know whether another barber went to lunch or whether your customer came in while you were gone. Stuff like that. That's for him. Then past him down there in the red, I got Dante. Dante, he new on board. He just came in. Excellent barber. I got Mike sitting right there beside him. Mike come from over the water, Smithfield. I think Mike played ball over there a couple of times. We heard some Smithfield Packer stories once or twice up in here.
Just every now and then when it gets
once
a lull.
Or twice, yeah.
When it's a lull.
Yeah, they might mention Tyrell Roberts and that's it.
I don't do too much talking.
That's Tim Lucas. Don't make eye contact with him or you're not going to be able to stop talking to him.
I know.
We don't make no eye contact after we told him that his interview started at 3.
I'm early.
He came early. He was excited. That's on the pole right there. That's Thomas. Thomas Gatlin. Thomas is an excellent barber too. On that side, anybody on that side? Baby Tony. Where Baby Tony at? Baby Tony, a childhood friend of mine. Been wanting to cut hair for a while, so I put him under apprenticeship, trying to teach him the business, let him make a living, take care of his family. My wife is a stylist in the back area back there. She around all these men all the time, so I had to make her a room in the back. Get her out of here. She hear too much. She hear too much going on around here.
All right. Well, listen, Walt, appreciate you having us here. We want to thank you for tuning in to LSC and Sports Time. I want to thank my special guest, Big Walt Brantley, and all his crew here at Big Walt's Barbershop. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Until next time.